All hail Biafra! All hail Biafra! All hail Biafra, children of the Most High, Chukwuka. Good evening, good night, good morning, good afternoon from wherever you are listening or joining us. My name is Mazi Chukwuemeka Anyoro Okafor. Mazi Okafor is from Agluzibo in Aniocha, province of Biafra land. And Mazi Okafor resides in Germany and served the indigenous people of Biafra as the Northern Region Coordinator. I thank each and every one of you, and as I welcome you, please endeavor to welcome your friend, your relative, even your enemy. Give them the opportunity to come and be part of this great movement. We greet our host for giving us the opportunity to be here today. Before we continue, we must not forget what we came here to do. We are not in Omona meeting or kindred meeting. This is a place we gather as comrades to plan and execute, because at the end of the day, our target, our destination is the restoration of the kingdom of the Most High on earth, which is Biafra land. We must free the whole indigenous people that are trapped in that contraption called Zoo, Nigeria. But before we continue, let's say the prayer of our ancestors, the cry of those men that were faced with world powers and still they find to preserve the generation, our generation, so that we may live and tell the story. So we are testimonies of the wonders of the class of 1967. Land of the rising sun we love and cherish, beloved homeland of our brave heroes. We must defend our lives or we shall perish. We shall protect our heart from all foes. But if the price is death for all we hold dear, Chukwuka, please then let us die without a shred of fear. Chukwuka, we thank you for today, and we pray that all the enemies of freedom, all the enemies of our leader Onyendumazin Nnamdi Kanu, who was brutally kidnapped and renditioned to the zoo called Nigeria, all his enemy, Father, we say, may I can say Habahonu, that hand they were using to plan all this evil, may it befall on them, may those evil be their portion. I want to start by thanking the HOD Mazi Chike Doziem for doing an excellent work. The doors are wise. These are a group of wise men selected by our leader Onyendu Nnamdi Kanu to control and to lead this great movement called IPOB. May Chukwuka Abiyama bless them, the DOS. May Chukwuka Abiyama bless our internal leader, Mazi Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu, wherever he is. May he grant him peace. His name shall excel forever. Our supreme leader, Onyendumazin Nnamdi Kanu, who is in DSS dungeon, we greet you, Our Excellency, and we pray that wherever you are, that the great hand of Chukwuka Abiyama shall be with you. He shall be your guidance, and he shall bring you out to join us, and you shall come out with Biafran flag and lead all of us home. I thank each and every one of you for having patience to join us this evening, for bringing out your precious time. Before we continue, I want to remind you the rules and regulation of this hallowed platform, this hallowed space. This is a program of 1 hour. That's why we always beg our listeners to come in time, so that everybody will have the opportunity to share his wonderful views with every listener all around the world. If you ever have intention to speak, please indicate in time, and as the time goes in, I'm going to call you in, and you will get your 3 minutes to share your view with lovers of freedom all around the world. We are fighting to make sure that we restore a Biafra where equal right and justice will be guaranteed for all citizens of Biafra. And we are fighting to restore a Biafra where there will be free education for all our citizens. We are fighting to restore a Biafra where there will be free health care for every Biafrans and everybody living within our territory. We are fighting to make sure that there is steady water supply for all our citizens. We are fighting to make sure that there is steady power supply for all our citizens. Those of us that live in diaspora knows the amenities we're enjoying. The same thing we are wishing our people back home. A Biafra with a secured social welfare for every citizen. A Biafra where every citizen will have employment. A Biafra where there will be guaranteed pension for all the old citizens that have worked all their life. A Biafra where the government will support the young entrepreneurs so that they will grow and create more jobs for our citizens. A Biafra where the government will support the existing industries so that they can be able to compete internationally with other companies. A Biafra where there will be nice infrastructures in every city and province provided by the government. There shall be no corrupt politicians, because we shall make sure that every politician that will be in Biafra, that will be elected in Biafra land, shall swear with the way of our ancestors, because that is the only thing black people are afraid of. We are going back to the way of those, back to Ndibo, the way we used to live. Because if you want to know the truth, the politicians of these days, more especially those we have within the territory of the Eastern region, they are all corrupt. But before we continue, I want to remind you all the tasks ahead of us. In case if you've not heard about the 1 million man march coming up in London on 16th of October, we shall be between 11:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. at the legendary Anfield Stadium in Liverpool. And on the 17th of October, between 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., we shall be gathering in Trafalgar Square, London, then march to Commonwealth Development Office and Parliament buildings. Please prepare to be there. Prepare to be part of this historical event. Don't be left out at this historical event, because they said, Igwebike says our people, this fight to restore Biafra is not left for only IPOB. We have the numbers. According to Google, we have about 1.9 million black people living in Britain. You have about 178,000 people registered as Nigerians in Britain. And all over Europe, we have over 3 million Africans residing in Europe. Those that are registered, those that were counted with through their census. The world we are living in, the white people understood that everything is mathematics. The freedom is for us to take. We shouldn't be lazy. We should use the opportunity we have to take our freedom. We shouldn't be waiting for other people to come and pull the chain that we are putting around our neck. Because this same chain, we can pull it by ourselves. And we don't need to do much. We have to emulate what our leader have done. With a single microphone, he has crumbled the zoo. The zoo has fallen. Those of you that watch their nonsense Independence Day celebration in Lagos, a whole stadium was empty that used to be filled up. You only have the governors, the local government chairman, and those that are eating from the crumble that falls out of their table. You know, few numbers of people were those that were gathered that day celebrating their deadly independence. The zoo has fallen, just like as our leader used to say, the zoo must fall. This time around, the slogan is, the zoo has fallen. And we all are testimony to it that the zoo has fallen. And nothing can save the zoo because the zoo is finished. Comrades, brethren, I welcome you today to join us as we prepare to hit the center of Europe, to hit the very country where the winch of Buckingham Palace came from, those that enslaved our ancestors, those that plundered Africans, those that destroy all our heritage, those that are enslaving all Africans, those that are the reason that millions of us are residing in Europe. They came from the same place we want to march on the 16th and 17th of October. It is a call of duty for every black person. It is a call of duty. It is your responsibility as an Igbo man. It is your responsibility as a Biafran. It is your responsibility as a black man to make sure you show up on that particular day. But please, don't come empty-handed when it's possible. Make sure you bring your banner with you. Make sure you bring your colorful flag with you. Make sure you bring a poster with you, boldly written, "Free our leader Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Freedom for Biafrans. Freedom for Duduas. Freedom for Ambazonians. We shall march, come sun, come rain. Nothing is going to stop us because we must restore the kingdom of God on earth. Our ancestral heritage, Biafra land. We are not going to stop short of anything because it is our destination. It is our destiny that we must restore Biafra, and no Jupiter can stop us until we get to our destination. We have a mandate from God to restore his kingdom on earth, and exactly that is what we're going to do. There will be no retreat, no surrender until we restore Biafra, and nothing is going to stop us. So, comrades, get prepared, because on the 16th of October, we shall be at Anfield Stadium, Liverpool, between 11:30 and 3:30 p.m., 11:30 a.m. and 3:30 p.m. We shall be at Anfield Stadium in Liverpool. Join your friends, join your family, bring your friends, bring your family. Freedom of everyone that loves freedom is invited. Lovers of freedom from across all over the world are invited to join us on this day. Be part of this historical march to make sure that freedom is given to the people of Biafra, to make sure that we free the people of Biafrans, to make sure that we free the people of Ambazonian, to make sure that we free the people of Oduduwa. It is our collective duty. In case if you're waiting for white people to come and free you, that means you are still a big fool. You don't understand the world politics, and probably you will be sitting in water while all over your face will be filled with soap. Let me tell you the truth. We are suffering because we are victims, not just to the Fulani Caliphate. They are just the tools being used by the British people And most of the British citizens does not know what their elites are doing in Nigeria. We have a big opportunity in our hand with the crisis that you have right now in Europe, where Europe is totally divided. When their house is burning, it is our advantage to make sure that we escape, that we pull out the chain that is tied around our neck and live as free people and worship Chukwukabiama the way it's meant to be. On the 17th of October 2022, approximately around 10 a.m., we shall be meeting at Trafalgar Square, London. Come and join your brethren. Come and join your comrades. Hand in hand, we shall march on that day. We shall march and we shall make a lot of noise. We shall make sure that the British people hear us. We shall make sure that those that are passing, that they see us. We shall make sure that we disrupt their traffic system with our numbers. We are going to be disciplined because discipline is our key, just like as our leader said. But with our numbers, they shall feel us. With our numbers on that particular day, they cannot decide the hunger of freedom from Biafrans, from Oduduwas, from Ambazonia, from South Africa down to Egypt. No African country is free until Biafra is free. If you don't know history, not their history, our own history, go back and check one more time. Africa failed after the Ekumeku warrior lost the war. That was when Africa failed. After over 30-something years of fighting, after the Ekumeku lost the war, that was when the Berlin Conference, that was when they could hold the Berlin Conference to divide Africa. Because they knew that with Biafra standing as a nation, it is impossible for you to enslave a black man. They knew with Biafra standing as a nation, it is impossible for an African person to leave the African kingdom to come here in Europe and start developing their country for them. Because they knew that with Biafrans, Africans will be a very big force. They knew that with Biafrans, there will be no corrupt politicians in Africans. They knew that with Biafrans, if Biafran exists as a nation, if Biafra land is restored, it will be very difficult for all these greedy politicians from South Africa down to Egypt to be exploiting their people, to be plundering the treasury of their country and bringing it down here to Europe. They knew that Biafra will be a model for all Africa to follow. Then they saw it through our leader, Onyendumazi Nnamdi Kanu, formidable as ever, relentless as ever, uncompromised. He is not breached and he's not flinching. And they all saw the fire in him. That is what they are all afraid of. That is why they kidnap him. That is why they rendition him. But he has turned to that big bone that a dog tried to swallow. It is hanging on their neck and they must release him whether they like it or not. This is not a threat to them. This is a promise to them. We are a nation of over 75 million and we shall not rest. This is not 1967. We cannot tolerate it anymore. You can't be keeping the children of the Most High in bondage and expect to have peace. It shall not happen. Our revolution will be bigger than the ones the Indians have in 1949. We shall march day and night to make sure that we regain our territories. We shall march day and night to make sure that our ancestral heritage is secure. We shall march day and night to make sure that the pride and dignity of a black man is restored in this earth that we are living. And there is nothing anybody can do about it. The so-called world powers they have seen it. They are feeling the hand of Chukwukabiama. And we know this, we all know this. Before we continue, my comrades, I would like to call in Mazi Evans Hart. Mazi, can you hear me? Mazi Evans, can you hear me? Okay, it's like the Mazi is not around. Comrade, in case if you're joining us right now, You are all welcome to Biafra Twitter handle, where we strategize and plan how to make sure that all the indigenous population trapped in that contraption called Zoo Nigeria is free. That is our destination. That is our mandate. And by the grace of Chukwuka Biama, the goalpost is very close to us, and we must score that goal. And nothing any Jupiter can do against it. We are calling on the terrorist Nigerian government to make sure that nothing happens to our leader, Onyendumazi Nnamdi Kanu. In case most of you does not know, our leader have been sick the past weeks. He is not getting the real medication he was supposed to get. And we want to use this forum, we want to use this space to pass a direct message to the DSS in that dungeon, in that contraption called Zoo Nigeria, and to pass a message to United Nations and every world powers around the world, call it the US Senate, call it the British Parliament, call it the German Bundestag, call it the European Parliament. Anybody that has here, let it listen. Nigerian terrorist government is holding the leader of 75 million indigenous people of Biafra. And more than 5 million of us are living in diaspora. More than 2 million of us are living in this Western world. And if anything should happen to our leader, may God have mercy to this world. It's not a threat, it's a promise. This is a prisoner of conscience, a man that have done nothing, a man that committed no crime. All his crime is let my people go. All his crime is to restore dignity to black people. All his crime is to make sure that the injustice peddled against black people stop. All his crime is to make sure that Biafran land is restored. All his crime is to put Africa back on the world map. That was his crime. That was the only crime he's committed. And that is why he's sitting in DSS dungeon. That is why he's brutally kidnapped, beaten, tortured, and rendition in Nigeria. And everybody is keeping mood and quiet. And nobody is talking about it. We shall not tolerate it any longer. I pity most Africans. Each time I look at African people, I think of what kind of human being are we? Just look at Iran the other day. A girl was killed because she's not wearing headscarf. The whole country is burning. A girl was murdered in the north, falsely because of false accusation. A girl that didn't do anything, that just said, this is our forum where we learn. And she was murdered. And all those fools in that contraption called Zoo Nigeria, nobody could stand up for that poor girl. She was born in the public. Nobody is talking about it today. You people are quick to forget. Most of you running up and down shouting obedience this or obedience that. And we will be watching you. We will be watching you to see how you're going to react when you are rigged. We will see exactly what you people are going to do. What is wrong with the mind of average black people? How long shall they be killing our heroes and we stand by and watch? The Patrick Lumumba, what was his crime? He wanted an independent nation, not a flag independent for his people from Congo. And what did they do to him? They killed him, poured acid to him, and sent back his teeth to Congo. We can keep counting. What happens to Thomas Sankara from Burkina Faso? A man that came back, changed the name of his country, bring pride back to black people, make white Europeans understand that he doesn't need their money, that his country, that real resources, real wealth is under the ground. And what did they do? They used his fellow African, Black and Pore, to kill him. That is what we are facing in that Africa. Do you want to continue? Talk about Muammar Gaddafi. Libya, the only African country that was better than Europe. It was their jealousy. What was his crime? He wanted anybody coming to Africa to do business to bring resources to change with Africa. That was all his crime. Just like Saddam, he was murdered. And all the treasures of Libya was looted. And now Libya is worse than Somalia. And what were the African leaders doing? They were all standing by and watching. What was African youths doing? You were all standing by and watching why all this crime happened. Now you have the leader of indigenous people of Biafra sitting in DSS dungeon. A British citizen. Can't Africans think? This is somebody that traveled with a British passport. If he was a white person and he was brutally kidnapped in Kenya, rendition back to Nigeria, will the British government keep quiet? Will they keep quiet? Why are our people so dumb? Why are they so stupid? Why can't Africans reason? Why can't African youth rise up? Why are the African leaders not asking questions? Why are they gathering, calling themselves OAU? Why are they still going to Commonwealth meeting? Are they sick? Are they stupid? What is wrong with them? We are at the final hour and we must restore the kingdom of God on earth. The truth is coming out. After 2,000 years of history, cannot be wiped away just like that. We know who we are. We know who we are. 2,000 years of history cannot be swept under the carpet. We know who we are. I want to call on Mazi Vance. Are you there, Mazi? Because before you were not available. Can you hear me, Mazi? Mazi Ivan is like he's having technical problem. We must continue. I want to use this opportunity to thank our gallant men for the wonderful work they are doing, especially in these last days. Men that are fighting, sacrificing their life, trying to protect our motherland with the little they have. I want to thank them for all their sacrifices. I say, may Chukwu Kabiama bless them wherever they are. Mazi Ivan, are you back there? I cannot hear you loudly. Maybe your distant instrument is having a little bit problem. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Mazi. Good evening.
Good evening, Mazi. You are welcome to Biafran Twitter space. I say, may Chukwu Kabiama bless you. The mic is yours.
Yeah, Mazi, you have said it all, and thank you very much. And I still remember Mazi Evans Hart. It is a fight that must not be lost. We must not accept defeat, and we have never accepted defeat. IPOB is being born as a necessity child, and we are here, and we will continue to be here until the Biafran cause is achieved. The 1 million march, as you said, when the one of Belgium was, I will call it one of Belgium is a preamble to what is going to happen in UK, because the having your flag and whatever you have concerning the Biafra struggle and Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, in Belgium it was something else, but we want to top the gear in UK for people to know that what the United Kingdom, their conspiracy with the two African countries to rendition their citizens illegally is absurd and is unacceptable. And some days now we have heard and received the news that the UK court has ordered the Mazi Nnamdi Kanu family to sue the UK government for keeping quiet on his illegal rendition and kidnap, for not helping a citizen of theirs, even when there's need be. So in this Biafra restoration, a lot of things is coming out under Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. There are a lot of there were Biafra restoration, Biafra struggle of other people, which we know how it ended. But this one championed by IPOB and led by Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, which is now being chairman by DOS and Mazi Chikedozie. This is the best of its kind, and we will continue to push in any way we can to make sure that every I's is being dotted and every T is being crossed to make sure that what we are here for, we achieved it. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu did not do anything wrong. He did not do anything that somebody would say, bring him and kill him. What was his crime? And what is his crime? He spoke the truth to humanity. He exposed the secret of both colonialism and the people that is taking over, they handed over Nigeria to, which is the Fulani. They are caretaker, because British is the owner, and they handed over to Fulani, that is their caretaker. And we said, if you don't want to go front as a country, let us, we who are the nations, because when you talk of nations, country and nation, they are not the same. A country is different from a nation. In Nigeria, they trapped so many nations in that contraption called Nigeria. So many nations we are trapped, and Biafra nation is among that want to go their separate way and find their way in the international community. We are lacking behind today because the Nigerian state and Africa in general decided to allow their European counterparts to use their brain. I mean, their leaders to use their brains to toil around, like when you are playing a toy against the citizen, allowing them to do whatever they like, and to promise them under the chair a protection, international protection, which is not good for the citizens. Could you imagine if they want to create a state or decide something here in Europe or anywhere in the Western world, they will conduct a referendum, thereby respecting the will and the decisions and the opinions of the citizens as a peaceful way to do what? To decide on something that is massively being rejected or being accepted. So referendum is what Biafrans are talking. Even at the cost of war, Russia can organize a referendum to their so-called claimed Russia territory, which is under Ukraine. So even at the state of war, they still recognize referendum. But when we talk about referendum in case of Nigeria and Biafra, the West are doing as if they don't know what it is. What are they looking for? They want us to start cleaning ourselves before they will now come. We don't need their humanitarian help. We don't need it. We want them to avoid it now. That influx of refugees that was going to happen when care is not taken, if care is not taken, we want them to avoid it now and give us that referendum to solve this problem or the incoming problem or the massive thing that is going to happen. It is a simple thing. So on our traveling to UK, we are traveling there to tell the whole world that the UK citizen that is in DSS dungeon was kidnapped and illegally renditioned back to Nigeria. And the UK government, even the Katrina Lang in Abuja, wherever she is in Nigeria, representing the United Kingdom citizens, he's not doing anything. She's busy traveling all over the whole Biafra land, traveling over Nigeria as if he's the president and the commander-in-chief of the Nigerian Armed Forces ruling, instead of taking care of what is happening to his citizens. And when they asked him during one of the press conferences, he said he doesn't want to talk about it. Could you just imagine? It is a laid-down conspiracy being planned, being well planned. Man, I will thank Chukwuokike because he did not let them succeed. Because they plan to kill, but hence you plan anything you want to do in this life, and God is not among you. Have to you will replan it, and the person that you're planning to will be a winner. That is the reason why Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is still alive today. Because Chukwuokike, who brought him out, will never allow him to go down shamefully. So 1 million march in UK is a cause that we have to show that one, that we are not happy on the way they issue the British government is pampering the thing concerning Nigeria and Nnamdi Kanu, which is our leader. And secondly, that we want a referendum, and this referendum is not a cause for war. If you are asking for referendum, which they are expressing every country to settle issues, it is not a cause for war. And we want them to revisit what is going on in Nigeria, how the Nigerian state has occupied the British the Biafran territories continue killing, maiming, and adopting and raping. These are the things we are saying, and we are still going to be, we must be on it because we cannot keep quiet. Like my brother said, nobody will do it for us if we will not do it for ourselves. If you don't open up yourself, nobody will say what is happening to you. We cannot keep our mouth shut. Other years it has happened 200 years ago. Now we say enough is enough. The social media is there. Twitter is there for IPOB members and people that are concerned, for us to continue to show our voice, continue to lay our voices, continue to show the whole world what is going on in our place. If we don't do it, no man said nobody will do it for you if you don't do it for yourself. So if you're waiting for international community to come and help you, to come and say what is happening in Enugu, in Aba, in Owerri, in whatever it's called, in this the Mbamile place, nobody will come and do it for you. Nobody. It is we that are receiving the shock. The Biafrans, we have to flood everywhere with our problems and channel it to the way that we will continue to disturb them until they do the needful.
Mazindewo, thanks very much for your wisdom. I say, may Chukwu Kabiama continue to bless you. May he give you more wisdom to be able to join us next week, Sunday. Thanks very much for the topic you touched. You see, Nigeria, the contraption called Zoo Nigeria is a British industry. This is one thing many people fail to understand. So, and for the fact that it's a British industry, that's why that corrupt woman you call Katrina Lang is running from one city to the other, meeting corrupt politicians, looking for what and what, telling them what to do. Most of you used to forget during the answer protest, when our able leader, Onyendumazi Nnamdi Kanu, was raised an alarm and said, watch what will happen very soon. This woman has come to Lagos to meet Tinubu. Watch what will happen after the meeting with Tinubu. People should be very careful. That woman is a murderer. He was screaming it. And what happened immediately after that meeting with Tinubu? They were shooting at the Lekki toll gate. Hundreds of people, innocent people, were killed. Until today, all these zombies, I call them, that live in that contraption called Nigeria are shouting obedience. This is how deteriorating the mind of average African, the worst the mind of average Nigerian is. I don't know what will move these people again. Most of people there have no conscience. That is my take, and you can take it to any bank. Because if people have conscience, they will be boiling with pain, asking themselves, what did our leader do? Why is he kidnapped? We all greet the news of the new territories of Russia. Those that go through democratic process to become the new part of Russia. We welcome them and we greet them to new free worlds. This is how it is. The West cannot go and make referendum in Serbia and create Kosovo. The world is not meant for them. So Russia also have the right to free their own people that are trapped in Ukraine. So the same way we, the indigenous people of Biafra, the Oduduwa nation, the Ambazonians, are also free to leave that contraption company called Zoo Nigeria. It is our collective duty. It is our duty, more especially those of us who are in diaspora, who have understood the game that these people are playing. It is our collective duty to move ahead and do something. Before I forget, let me say thank you one more time and greetings to our brothers in Amazonia as they celebrated their Independence Day yesterday. We say, may Chukwu Kabiama bless you, you all. May he be your strength, because one day we all shall live in a free nation called Biafra, Amazonia, and Oduduwa. And there is nothing our enemies can do against it. They can only watch and they cannot do anything against it because it's already too late for them. The world already know about Oduduwa. The world already know about Biafra. The world already know about Amazonia. And less than that, we will not take. It is our right. It is our responsibility. It is our duty to make sure that changes are done, to make sure that these new nations that are springing out of Africa, the nations that will deliver African people, that this march that we are about to do exactly 11:30 a.m., 16th of October, 2022 at Anfield Stadium in Liverpool. On that particular day, we all should gather there. Don't be left behind. Our freedom is nearer than you imagine. Freedom is taking and not giving. You must fight and take your freedom. It is our collective responsibility to free our people back home. We don't have bombs, and those bombs and bullets from Nigerian Fulani terrorist government, they cannot differentiate if you are an IPOB member. They cannot differentiate if you belong to Yoruba nations. All they know is they call all of us one name, infidels. And what is their mandate? Kill them wherever you see them. That's why we are experiencing massacre upon massacre. From our massacre, you see Osu massacre. From Osu massacre, you see Ihiala massacre. From Ihiala massacre, you see Obibo massacre. From Obibo massacre, you see Ozuburu massacre. From Ozuburu massacre, you see Obaru massacre. Massacre everywhere in that contraption called Zoo Nigeria. The Benue people are not left behind. Those are Middle Belt and those in Southern Kaduna, they are not spared. Everybody is feeling the terror and the pain of this Fulani Janjaweed government led by the imposter Mohammed Yusuf called Buhari. We shall expose them on that particular day. On the 17th of October also, we all shall meet at Trafalgar Square, London. And from there, we shall be marching towards the Parliament building, and we shall march all around London, wherever we can, up to 10 Downing Street. We shall make sure that the average British citizen know the crime their government is committing in the name of their people. This is very, very important. And that's why it is very important that if you're coming out that day, identify yourself as a proud Biafran. Identify yourself as a proud Oduduwa. Identify yourself as a proud Ambazonian. Identify yourself as a proud African. We have to make sure that our message go through by making sure we bring big banners, by making sure we bring postcards, by making sure we bring placards, posters, boldly written the message there. Free the indigenous people of Biafra leader, Onyendu Mazin Nnamdi Kanu. I was saying before, if African youth could think, they should ask themselves one question: what is the crime of our leader? But most of them, I don't know. They are being deceived. An average white person with his handy, because he knows he can reach the world through the handy, the internet on the handy. They use it for something important. They use it to free themselves. They use it to make sure that their voice counts. Watch what is happening in Iran. A girl was killed because of her, she's not wearing this hijab, and the whole country is burning. But a student was killed in Nigeria because of just that she cautioned those that are passing Islamic message in their WhatsApp group. She was automatically, they condemn her, say that she commit blasphemy, and they burn her, stone her to death, burn her. And all of you kept quiet, shouting obedient, waiting for 2023. We shall see. We are waiting for you people. When the election is rigged, we shall see your reaction. We will be waiting, because the prophecy is that those of you shouting obedience, shame shall be your own after you were rigged out of power and you failed to do anything. Meanwhile, while you're going that way, we shall be running home, marching to our home, marching to our ancestral heritage, marching to Biafra land, marching to Dudua land, marching to Ambazonia land. Those of us that understand the value of freedom, we are not house niggers. We know exactly what we have. We know exactly who we are. we've understood that the real riches are not the banknote. The real riches are what you have under the ground in your ancestral heritage. This prompts the Russian president, Vladimir Putin, to make this statement. He said he's going to decolonize all the whole colonies of the Western countries. He's going to free them because those colonies are like the farmland, something like this contraption called Zoo Nigeria. They are like the farmland feeding European countries. That is why the Italian prime minister was saying the other day that Italy has 240, that France has 240 tons of gold, while there was no gold mine in France. France has steady power electric supply because they were taking uranium from Niger. But Niger is living in darkness. And still, African youths cannot read meaning to this statement. African people does not understand the meaning of that statement. Is it not a shame to most of you coming, shouting obedience, running up and down? Those of us that live in diaspora that have understood the game of these colonial masters, we are pushing. We are relentless in our diplomatic push to make sure that we free our people back home. So please, comrade, those of you that live here in Europe, in Western world, those that have the opportunity, those that doesn't have visa restriction, make sure you are part of this historical march coming on the 16th and the 17th of October 2022. On the 16th of October, we shall be meeting at Anfield Liverpool Stadium, the legendary Anfield Stadium. 11:30 to 3:30 p.m. we shall be having activities. And on the 17th of October 2022, we shall be meeting at Trafalgar Square in London. And we shall have activity from 10 o'clock in the morning till 3 p.m. in the evening. Be part of history. Make sure you are there so that you will have story to tell your children. Make sure you are there so that you will have story to tell your generation. This march that started 2,000 years ago, 2,000 years of history cannot be swept under the packet. We have found out the truth. We know who we are, and we shall not stop until we get what belongs to us. We shall not relent until we get what belongs to us. It is all our collective duty to be part of this march that is coming up. Before we continue, I want to use this opportunity one more time to thank the leader of indigenous people of Biafra for making sure that the children of the Most High does not perish, for giving us the opportunity to learn a little bit of who we are. Because I always say, those of us that are children to Radio Biafra understood exactly what is going on by now. Because most of the things that is happening right now, we are already prophesied by our leader, and we knew. Not talk of what Obadiah Lafia said 2 years ago. You are all seeing it, is all transpiring in your eyes. I want to say big thank one more time to the HOD, Mazi Doziem, and all the members of DOS for being tactically intelligent, facing all the infiltrators that came to fall this hallowed movement. They could only try, but just like as our leader said, it will take you 1,000 years to fall the foundation of indigenous people of Biafra. This worldwide mass freedom fighting movement, peaceful one. They could try, but at the end of the day, they shall fail and they will never succeed in their trials. Comrades, I want to remind each and every one of you that, can you hold on, please? I don't know who was talking right now, but if you don't mind, I will put everybody's thumb until I give the speaker the mic free to somebody. You know, let me remind you all that on Tuesday, there will be no sit at home. The 4th of October, Tuesday, the 4th of October, there is no sit at home. Yes, there will be court hearing in Umahia. but it's no seat at home. So our people are all informed. Don't be deceived by the infiltrators. Our people are all informed. The leadership of IPOB has not called for any seat at home on the 4th of October because our leader, our supreme leader, Onyendu Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, is not appearing, has no court appearance on that particular day. And let me remind you all, what is transpiring right now in Europe is a very big opportunity for our nation, Biafra. What is transpiring right now, those that are holding us down know that we have a very big negotiation coins in our hand. They know it, and they know that they cannot risk it. They've gotten the message that before they can tap our natural resources, meaning the oil and the gas that are found recently in Enugu, that they should be ready to kill 70 to 80 million people living in that eastern region called Biafra, the Gulf of Guinea. We are not going to surrender, neither are we going to retreat. We were existing before Nigeria, and we must restore our nation back to what it is. And there is nothing anybody can do about it. It is our collective duty to make sure that this mission, this mandate that we've gotten from Chukwu Kabiama, it is our collective duty to make sure that we drive it home with pride. Before I continue, I would like to call on Mazi Kerubia Onyeka. Mazi, can you hear me? Mazi Onyeka, can you hear me? Are you there? It's like the Mazi is having problem with his speaker. Yes. Okay, soon I will call him back again to see if he has put it in order. But before the Mazi returns, we shall continue. We must continue, just like as our leader says, we shall never relent. We shall continue. We shall keep the flame burning, and we shall keep the flag flying until we restore Biafra. Nothing anybody can do against it, because it is our it is our duty. It is our collective duty to make sure that Biafra land is restored, and there is nothing anybody can do against it. So, and it is just the way it is. So, comrades, so brethren, you get ready for the coming of a new nation. What most people does not know is that our freedom is nearer than they can imagine. What the secret I'm going to tell you today that most of you does not know, more especially those living in that contraption called Zoo Nigeria. Here in the Western world, the colonial power knows already that that contraption called Zoo Nigeria has fallen. It fell through the microphone of the leader of indigenous people of Biafra. He woke up many indigenous population in that country with his microphone. There is nothing like awareness, and that is why we continue spreading the awareness, because we understood that when the mind is working, when the spirit is working, the body will be physically awake and be ready to confront every evil that will come your way. So since our eyes was open, since we got the message, we shall make sure that we fly the flag against all costs. No matter what, we shall make sure that we get to our destination, which is Biafra land, which is Oduduwa nation, which is Ambazonian nation. It is our collective duty. I want young Africans, I want the African youth, those of you that are looking up to the 2023 election, I want to remind most of you, we've been there, done that, and we were back to square one. It is not the first republic. It is not the second republic. It is not the third republic. And this coming one shall not be the last if we don't fall this contraption. And that's why we are going to make sure that the zoo fall as it's crumbling. and that we free all the indigenous population that are trapped in that contraption called Zoo Nigeria. Because we understood that once that contraption called Nigeria cease to exist, will be a better place for Africans to live. Africans will be a peaceful place for Africans to live. An African will get back his dignity. An African will find out that an African person is completely spiritual and not religious. Because what we have done to you and me, what happened to us, most of us are still bearing the bruise of colonialism that happened to us. And that is the biggest problem we have as we are trying to free our people. The former president of Mozambique, may his soul rest in peace, Machar, he once said that the biggest problem you have as a freedom fighter is not just the colonial masters you're fighting, that the biggest obstacle in most cases are your brothers. That's why when you're fighting them, you also have to use the other hand to guide yourself against those enemies within, those you call house niggers, those that are ready to kill for the crumble that are falling from the master's table. People like Hope Uzodimma, people like David Umahi, people like many greedy politicians that are in that contraption called Zoo Nigeria, people like Blake and Pole, people like Mobutu Sese Seko, those people that sold their comrades and we are doing the bidding of the Europeans, those that put most African youth in this perpetuality, this suffering that they are going through. May Chukwu Kabiama never forgive them. May death be their portion. May everlasting torture be their portion. Those of them that have passed away, may their soul never rest in peace. May they never reincarnate to this earth again. And those that are living, like our leader used to say, may vulture eat them even when they are still alive. He said, we must continue. As we continue, I will like to remind us one more time that you all, those that are joining us new, you are all welcome to Biafran Twitter space. And today we want to make it clear that on the 16th of October, 2022, exactly 11:30 a.m., we shall be in Anfield Liverpool Stadium. We shall be there till 3:30 p.m. in the afternoon, strategizing, spreading awareness, making the British citizens understand what their so-called politicians are doing in their name, making the British people understand what their parliaments are doing in their name, making the British people understand what their monarchies are committing, what atrocities they are committing in their name. And then on the 17th of October, exactly 10 a.m. in the morning, we shall be at Trafalgar Square in London. From there, we shall be marching to the Parliament building. From there, we shall be marching to 10 Down Street. We shall make sure that British people feel us, because with our numbers, it will be undeniable. Whether the fake BBC, whether the fake news BBC let it report it or not. Thank God we live in the computer era. They can never change the narrative. We must tell the story ourselves, whether they like it or not. Their citizens will hear the story from the first-hand victims, whether they like it or not. Their citizen, British citizen, European citizen, they will see those victims of Kwashiorkor, those children of Kwashiorkor. They will see their reincarnation on that day on their street, walking their streets, singing free Biafrans, singing free Oduduwas, singing free Ambazonians, singing free Africans. They will witness us that day. They cannot run away from the evil they committed, because we shall be that day to hunt them. We shall be that day to torment them. We shall use that day to march. We shall fly our flag, whether they like it or not, because they say it's a civilized country. But back home where we live, they turn it to a contraption. Back home where our ancestral heritage is, they turn it to hell. They tell an average African child to look up to heaven, to the sky to see his heaven. But they come here in Europe and they build their heaven with the stolen wealth that they got from our ancestral heritage. They come home, they come to our ancestral heritage, steal all the whole, should I call it, all the whole oracles you have. What our ancestors kept, they steal all of them. And they told us about slavery, where they were telling us that they took only, should I call it, Agbero and all those useless people. No, during the slave trade, they were taking scientists, they were taking doctors, they were taking engineers, they were taking chief priests. That is why it was possible for them to come here and drop all those oracles they steal in their museum and make their people and our people to be paying money to go and see what belongs to them. They are making riches out of them. And that is what they did not tell you, but we know because we've lived here for years and we've witnessed it. We saw everything that transpired and we know it. And we have testimonies from people that still pass it down to us. Because most of us that have gone deep to find out why it's impossible for them to clean 2,000 years of history when they were living. If you check, if you read about the grave of the kings in Egypt, you will find out that the most statues they have there, that their nose were broken. Why did they commit that crime? Why did they do it? So that tomorrow they will tell you how superior they are over you. But their problem is that the deeper they were digging, the darker it becomes. Most of the things that we are digging from ground happens to be our ancestors. 2,000 years of history can never be wiped under the carpet. And that is the reality. So, my comrades, as we're drawing close to the end of today's program, I want to remind every one of you who you are. You are a Biafran. You are an Odudua. You are an Ambazonian. And it is your collective duty to make sure you free your people back home. Much is not asked from you, those of us that have the privilege, those of us that does not have visa restriction. Much is not demanded from you. All your people are asking you for is your presence. Be there on that day, 16th and 17th of October. Make sure you are there. Make sure you're there with your flag. Make sure you're there with your poster. Make sure you're there with your placards, with words that will attract the eyes of British citizens. Make sure you come out that day in your numbers. I don't know what is wrong with the mind of average African. A white man understood what freedom is all about, but most Africans do not know the value of freedom. And I believe strongly the day most of us, those back home, those in Africa, those people living in the African continent, the day they understood the worth of freedom, it will be unbearable for those holding us down. Those two called government, those people, those stooges that are sitting in different seats of power in African countries, doing the bidding of these Europeans. The day with our people, we wake up. The day our people, we get this awareness we are spreading. The day it will come to them, the day they understood that the riches they are dreaming that is here is just under their feet, it will be very hot for you. And that is just the reality that nobody can deny. So it's a fact proving. So please, comrades, on the 16th and the 17th of October, your presence is needed. Your presence is needed that day. Make yourself available. Make sure that you are part of history on that particular day. Make sure that you join the wagon. Make sure that you are part of history. If you don't know where to sleep, don't forget that our gallant men are sleeping in the forest since more than going to 2 years. Day and night, most of them have lost everything. And if you happen to have some changes in your pocket, go to Airbnb Go online to Google Airbnb. You don't need to go to hotel. At Airbnb, you can book a cheap apartment. So if you people are 2, 3, 4, 5, then it's even more cheaper for you, because you can get apartment where 10 people can sleep for less than 300 euro, 300 euro or 400 euro maximum. So it will be for one person 40 euro. So think about it, how wonderful it shall be when the cities of London are flooded with the flags of Biafrans, flags of Oduduwas, and maybe flags of Ambazonian also. It shall be things of glory. It shall be things of joy. We shall hold our hand together. We shall march hand in hand, singing the song of freedom, and nothing shall stop it. It is our collective duty. On that particular day, make sure your presence is acknowledged, because I will be there present to give those back home the opportunity to follow the event. So I will make sure I'll be there to give most of our listeners that are having visa restriction that could not be part of the program that day. I'll be present that day to represent you, to make sure that you follow up the program, because that day we shall make sure that the powers in Babylon fail. We shall make sure that they feel that there are those people, those class of 67 that refuse to be defeated, that they've reincarnated and they are back, and they will never rest until they get what is their own, which is total restoration of Biafra land. And by the grace of Chukwuka Biama, we are getting to the zeal, because we know that our enemies are panicking. I can tell you, because I know the diplomatic push going underground. And very soon, you people shall see the fruit of the labors of the DOS. Very soon, you people shall see the fruit of the labor of our HOD. Very soon, you people shall acknowledge that we have a leader ordained by Chukwuka Biama in the name of Onyendu Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, Ohamadike Biafra land. All his prophecies have come to pass. The zoo has crumbled. What we are waiting for now is the complete restoration of Biafra. And we are very happy the way our brethren in Oduduwa are growing. We are completely happy the way they were moving. We saw them the other day at United Nations. As United Nations has convention, they were bold enough that day to protest. This was what our leader was calling for all this while. So what we are still looking up to is those in middle belt, and we know it will not take long. They will join the march fully, just like our brethren in Oduduwa. Comrade, I thank each and every one of you. We are fighting for a Biafra where equal rights and justice will be guaranteed for all the citizens. There will be security for life and properties. You won't have Fulani Janjaweed going up and down, marauding, killing, raping, plundering every city and province. We are fighting for a Biafra where there will be free health care for all our citizens. We are fighting for a Biafra where there will be free education for all our citizens. We are fighting for a Biafra where there will be steady water supply for all our citizens. We are fighting for a Biafra where there will be steady power supply for all our citizens. We are fighting for a Biafra where there will be secured social welfare for those of us that are unopportune, that are not opportune to have work for one reason or the other, because we also have handicapped people in our environment. So we shall guarantee pensions for old citizens that have worked all their life to build our economy. There will be no corrupt politicians to loot the fund, the pension fund, because we shall put mechanism that will make sure that no politician will even dare to dream about it, because we know their secret. Once you call them back to our spiritual way to swear them in as politicians, they will be more holy than holy. But give them Bible or Quran, they will eat it, and tomorrow they will loot the whole fund. It shall not happen in Biafra land, and I believe it shall not happen in Oduduwa land, because I know that Sango will hit all of them. We are fighting for a Biafra where the government shall support the young entrepreneurs for them to grow and create more jobs for every citizen, for everybody living within the Biafran territory. We are fighting for a Biafra where the government will support the existing industry, like Innocent Motors, like many other industries that are already existing in Biafra land, where government will support them for them to be competitive enough to compete with other world industries like Mercedes and other people. We are fighting for a Biafra where the government in power shall build and make sure you have nice infrastructure in every city and province of Biafra land. With security, those of you that like party shall have the opportunity to party from morning till night. There will be this working system of morning shift, afternoon shift, night shift. So you can go anywhere you like 24 hours without being afraid that some idiots, that some terrorists will just jump on you on the road, waste your life for nothing, and steal all your belongings. It shall not happen in Biafra land. Not under the watch of our leader, Ndumazin Nnamdi Kanu, not under the watch of the Eastern Security Network, not under the watch of the new Biafran authorities that will be created. Because we used to tell people, in the first month that Biafra will be restored, there will be automatically more than 10 million jobs for the citizens, because our nation will be secured like an iron dome, and nothing nobody can do against it, because there will be Biafran army. For that, we need people. There will be Biafran police. For that, we need people. There will be Biafran navy. For that, we need people. There will be Biafran custom. For that, we need people. There will be Biafran immigration. For that, we need people. No illegal immigrants can cross into Biafra like the way they cross into Zoo, just like now. That you have every Fulani from all around Africa roaming into Nigeria, into that contraption called Zoo, killing people, raping, committing, kidnapping, doing everything that they can, just like their so-called, what do you call it? Their so-called prosecutor general, Malami the thief, that we end up in ICC with time. He should worry. He shouldn't worry. Very soon he will see. You know, it's not a threat, but it's a promise. So, comrades, we are fighting to restore a Biafra where human blood, where human life shall be sacred, where human life shall worth more than that of a cow, where human life, where if you waste a human life, oh, may God have mercy on your poor soul. Because no matter if you do it in self-defense or so, be you a police, be you an army, be you whoever it is, if you like, let your father be a Jagaban, you shall face the justice, and it shall be the wrath of the people at the end of the day. I want to thank you all for joining us today. Before we close, I want to thank the host for giving us this wonderful opportunity to be able to gather here today, to strategize and execute, to wake the conscience and the mind of our people, to remind them the hour that we are today. I want to thank him, and I want to thank each and every one of you for bringing out this precious time, because those back home don't know the meaning of time or the worth of it. But those of us that live here in diaspora, more especially in the Western world, we know the worth of spending 1 hour, 30 minutes somewhere. We know what it is, and we know the value of it. I want to thank the HOD, Mazi Chike Doziem, a man of high intelligence. I say, may Chukwu Kabiama bless you. May he continue to guide you and give you more wisdom to lead the children of the Most High in the absence of our supreme leader, Onyendumazin Nnamdi Kanu. I want to thank the members of DOS and all principal officers of IPOB for their immense hard work to make sure that the flag of the indigenous people of Biafra keep flying above the sky against all odds. I want to say thank you all, and may Chukwu Kabiama bless you for standing strong against the enemy, for standing strong against those that were sent by Dave Umahi, Hope Ozodimba, and Nelson Wike. I thank you all for being truthful to the call, standing to the oath you took to defend the indigenous people of Biafra against all odds. And I want to thank all IPOB members, those of you that believe in the philosophy and have listened to the gospel and believe on it, the gospel from our leader, Onyendu Mazin Nnamdi Kanu. I say, may Chukwu Kabiama be your strength, because what we are doing is of spirit. What we are doing is of spirit. Everybody from Eastern region called Nigeria is a Biafran, but it's not everybody is IPOB family member. This is what you shouldn't forget. So those of you that call yourself IPOB family member, I thank you. Not those that are believing on somebody sitting on the back of plane and trying to activate autopilot in a plane. It's only fools that believe such stories. I thank you all for being strong and for believing and for standing your ground, saying that there will be no retreat and there will be no surrender until Biafra land is completely restored and freed from all those that tries to invade and devote the land. I say, may Chukwu Kabiama bless you all one more time. And don't forget, we shall be meeting here next week, the same time, where we will be bringing important message again to you, where we will be creating more awareness, where we will be making our final preparation to make sure that all freedom, lovers of freedom from all over the world, that everybody get the message in time. What we are asking is your presence on the 16th and the 17th of October. Please don't forget, we are not asking you to give us money. What we are asking is do yourself the favor. Remember the families you left back home that are suffering, that are living in pain, that are sleeping every day in darkness, being beaten by mosquitoes, that could not drink clean waters. Remember the families you left back home that cannot go out after 6 o'clock when it's dark because they're afraid they will be kidnapped or that somebody will rob them. Remember the families you left back home and you drop car for them that could not use the car because there is no road for them to drive the car. Remember the families you left back home that are in pain, that are suffering from one sickness or the other because there is no good medication for them. Remember the families you left back home that you still have to support from your pocket, from your labor here, because there is no job for them back home. Develop conscience. You cannot do the work of government, but you can be part of this movement. You can be part of this movement to restore a nation where there will be a functioning government, a government that will have the people at its heart, a government that will be willing to salvage the people at all costs, a government that will make sure that the citizens are happy, that the citizens are healthy, that the citizens are doing the right thing, that the citizens have equal justice guaranteed to all of them, no matter who you are, no matter your hierarchy in the society. Thank you very much. And I say, may Chukwu Kabiama bless you all. Hopefully you shall invite your friends, your relative, even your enemy to our next sermon. Coming next week, Sunday, 7 p.m. I say, may Chukwu Kabiama bless you, and may Chukwu Kabiama bless the leader of indigenous people of Biafra, Onyendu Mazin Nnamdi Kanu, who is sitting in DSS dungeon. May he be his strength. May he be his guidance. May he make sure he come out with Biafran flag raised up in the sky. This is a promise that Chukwu Kabiama gave him and the people of Biafra, and we know it shall be fulfilled, and there is nothing anybody can do against it. From me, from here, my comrades, it is good evening, and I salute you all. Hopefully, I see you next week, Sunday. May Chukwu Kabiama bless you all and give you more wisdom to join us next week, Sunday. ise ise ise. Shalom.